Welcome back to Suladan Plays the Stanley Parable. Last time, we explored what was apparently an out-of-bounds area, and there was a lady narrator, so I don't know what was going on. This time, we're going downstairs. So on the way to the boss's office, there was a staircase, and he said we would climb up it, and we may go down it now. For I have not done that yet. Onward, Stanley!
All of his co-workers were gone.
Yes,
What could it
Charlie,
mean?
I know.
Stanley decided to go to
Charlie,
the
I know.
meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Charlie, I know.
To a set
Yes,
of two
yes,
open
left door.
doors,
Meeting room.
yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office.
Down
Hoping he'd
we
come into a
go!
staircase, Stanley walked upstairs
Into
to
the
his boss's
blackness.
office.
Well, hello there. Why are you here? I don't know. Well, that did nothing. Let's go through. Ooh, fire. Do we have pigeons? We have pigeons! Why are there pigeons in the building? Oh, garage.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk?
It's
All
office
because
job.
he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. "I'm dreaming!" he yelled. "This is all a dream." Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking?
Oh, you're in my head.
Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought.
Be nice to get to talk.
And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up.
I want to
He
explore.
felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back,
Charlie.
the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment and my wife and my job, All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine. I am okay. Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black. This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy, this much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Really? You're gonna make me go through all that again just so that I can explore the building? Because Charlie would never stop narrating, apparently.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Yeah, Charlie, I know.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
So my normal inclination is, when the game is talking, to wait for it to finish, because I've seen a lot of games that if you just push forward, you'll miss dialogue. But it appears that entire ending involved just me exploring while there's dialogue. So let us run forward and see what there was that we couldn't see.
Considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed
this is where it talks about
vanished.
the looping rooms.
His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley.
Oh, okay.
Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am
yeah,
crazy.
if I'd been pushing forward, that
All
might
of
have
my
made more
co-workers
sense.
blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically?
Okay. Well, there's no point in us going through all that again, because we've established that. Anyway, on to the next one!
I can't wait to tell this story to my co-workers, Stanley thought. How amusing they'll find it. Oh, won't we all just laugh and laugh at the time I thought everyone had gone missing?
Well, that's new. Charlie, are you getting bored of me? We'll haunt somebody else for a while.
When Stanley came to a set of two open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Nope. I'm going this way. The door's probably shut behind me, but I want to see. It is indeed. So the out-of-bounds area was right. There is only one way forward here.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking, but eager to get back to business. Stanley took the first open door.
Wait,
on
what
his
if I go
left.
forward? I never tried that. I forgot about that.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Do not lie. If you're lying right now, stop. I want to hang that sign up just for fun. So, what if I just...
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
And very dead. Okay, Charlie.
Even now, Stanley's office was a distant memory. What did it look like? There was a computer, perhaps, and a painting. Was it a painting or a photo? He could no longer recall. When Stanley came to a set of two open, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
But what happens if I just hang out?
Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
What if I just run through it?
Yes, this room. What a beauty! But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door.
He's basically getting annoyed with me.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Do not jump from the cargo lift. What? Thank you, headset, for beeping at me. Someday we'll figure out why it does that.
Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult,
what if I...
but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time.
What if I jump over there?
There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you've forgotten about. Please,
Is it me?
Stop trying to make every decision by yourself.
How did you get the
I'm
boxes
not
on
asking
that
for me, I'm asking for her.
Or who? Who her?
This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life.
Who her?
She's been waiting.
Giving me a lot of branching structures here. Nothing. Is she a box? That makes sense. Oh dear, blackness. Ooh.
That's her, Stanley. You need to be the one to do this. To reach out to her. If you can truly place your faith in another,
so there's obviously
then
a
pick up the phone.
What if I unplug the phone? Can I do that?
As Stanley picked up the phone, a white light engulfed him, filling him not just with radiance, but with hope. Hope for a life reunited one... Wait. Oh, goodness. Stanley, did you just unplug the phone?
Maybe.
No, that wasn't supposed to be a choice. How did you do that? You actually chose incorrectly. I didn't even know that was possible. Let me double check. No, it's definitely here, clear as day. Stanley picks up the phone. He's taken to his apartment where he finds his wife, and the two pledge themselves to one another. Music comes in, fade to white, roll credits. Not picking up the phone is actually somehow an incorrect course of action. How is that even possible? None of these decisions were supposed to mean anything. I don't understand. How on earth are you making meaningful choices? What did you... Wait a second. Did I just see... No, that's not possible. I can't believe it. How had I not noticed it sooner? You're not Stanley. You're a real person. I can't believe I was so mistaken. This is why you've been able to make correct and incorrect choices. And to think I've been letting you run around in this game for so long. If you'd made any more wrong choices, you might have negated it entirely. It's as though you completely ignored even the most basic safety protocol for real-world decision-making. Or did you not grasp the severity of the situation? Well, I won't have that kind of risk on my watch. I'm going to stop the game for a moment so we can educate you properly on safe decision-making in the real world. Please observe this helpful instructional video.
No. Never.
Choice. It's the best part of being a real person. But if used incorrectly, can also be the most dangerous. For example, in this scenario, a hypothetical real person named Stephen has a choice. He could spend years helping improve the quality of life for citizens of impoverished third world nations. Or he could systematically set fire to every orphan living in a 30-kilometer radius of his house. Which choice would you make? Remember that unlike here, the real world makes sense, and at no time should you make a choice that does not conform to rational logic. If you find yourself speaking with a person who does not make sense, in all likelihood, that person is not real. Allow the person to finish their thought, Then provide an excuse why you cannot continue talking. Turn to a partner and practice saying, "My goodness, is it 4:30? I'm supposed to be having a back, sack, and crack."
A what? Also 2 plus 2 equals fish. Who told you 2 plus 4 equaled fish?
Excellent. Making choices on a regular basis is the best part to a healthy decision-making
Seems like
process.
a good idea.
Most medical professionals recommend making at least 8 choices per day. Do you make more than 8? Less? And finally, if you begin to wonder if your choices are actually meaningful and whether you'll ever make a significant contribution to the world, just remember that in the vast infiniteness of space, your thoughts and problems are materially insignificant, and the feeling should subside. At this time, your instructor will guide you in an exercise to test and reinforce the material covered in this video.
Seriously? Oh dear, good
welcome back.
what happened
You may
here?
have noticed that this room has begun to deteriorate as a result of narrative contradiction. But not to worry. Now that you're properly informed on good decision-making, we're going to revisit a choice you made just a few
There's
minutes
no wall
ago
socket, so
and
I
see
can't
what
unplug
the
it
correct
anymore.
thing to do would have been. This way, please.
Nope. Must play with phone. Oh, there is a wall socket. What sort of weird... Also, phones were plugged in with phone cords, not power cords. This is a corded phone, which means it only has a phone line. It's one of the reasons that the corded phones don't go out when the power goes out. Assuming you're not on one of the weird phone companies that decided to change that lately. I think what is it, AT&T Uverse or something? One of them requires a active power connection, even if it's a corded phone, which is weird. Correct choice. Whoa, 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 there's fencing. Charlie, you give me so many buttons to push, and I still can't jump. Maybe that's why. He has no legs. He was no legs the cat all along.
Choices are meaningful. We can't have you jumping off the platform and dying. Imagine the main character dying senselessly halfway through the story. That story would make no sense at all. We just need to get you home as soon as possible before the narrative contradiction gets any worse. Unfortunately, it seems this place is not well equipped to deal with reality.
You've bubble wrapped everything, haven't you? That van is taller than the door. That's not going to be a problem for anyone. Key card scan. Are you literally just making me backtrack through a bubble-wrapped environment?
Almost there. You'll take the door on the left, back to the correct ending, the story will have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real world.
There's gotta be a way around this. I know I could check.
Now remember, all you need to do is behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first.
I'm not touching
quite sure
anything.
you'll
Why
be
are
up
you
the
turning to
task.
the right
Just follow my
slowly?
lead and you'll be fine. All right.
Stanley, what are you doing?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Right door!
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back in the other direction.
I love
Perhaps
it.
we're not too late.
I want an office hallway like this just to mess with people. I'd have an entire office building dedicated to making it look like reality is broken. Let's go right again. Aw. Where's the fun in it if I can't push it all the way to... Oh, my goodness. Well, I went left and it didn't fix nothing. I think I broke Charlie.
Oh, it's ruined. I can't believe, after everything we talked about, that my story, you've destroyed my work. Why? For what? What did you get out of that? What did you think was so special about seeing the game undone, left here like so much garbage?
Broken reality?
It's worthless now. And what am I supposed to do? Even if there were a way to continue, would it be worth it? To know that my story is now incorrect? How can I go back to that? I can't erase that knowledge. I'll have to live with it forever, reliving its impossibility forever. I couldn't live that way. Is it better to shut the game down entirely? To willingly destroy all of my work? I don't know. What's the answer? What do I do? What do I do? What do
You're everywhere.
No, I have to.
Approve.
I have to shut the game down.
No.
I have to.
I want
I
door.
have to.
Door. Fancy door. Oh dear. Fancy door. I want the fancy door. Give me the door. Oh, this is glorious. Oh, I love this. This is even better than fancy.
Oh, I'm here. I'm still here. Here in this pile of rubbish. With you. You. Who thought you were so clever.
Yep.
Now look where we are. My entire game is destroyed. It was the only thing in the world that was mine, and you've run it into the ground. What, did you think that would be funny? You just had to see? Didn't I impress upon you how important it was to be like Stanley? He actually knows how to do what I tell him to. He understands that if I say to do something, there's a damn good reason for it. That thought hadn't even occurred to you, had it? That there's a world outside of you? You're a child. Oh, my story. If you'd just gone through the door on the left, you would have seen it. There was a whole underground facility. You would have destroyed it and been victorious. It would have been so perfect. I worked so hard on it. I tried so hard. Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always putting the story first. I'm quite sure you'll be up to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Would have been even funnier if there was 3 doors this time. To the right!
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry. Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly.
I think it's just going to keep
looping
looping
the
now.
story first.
But I have
I'm
to
quite
push.
sure
I
you'll
have
be
to
up
try.
to the task. Just follow my lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
To the right! Whoa, okay.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry.
Okay, yeah, it's just looping.
Behave exactly as Stanley would. That means choosing responsibly and always
Not
putting the
choosing at all.
story first.
What about standing
I'm
here
quite
for
sure
5
you'll be
hours?
up to the task.
Making
Just
you watch
follow my
all of it.
lead and you'll be fine. All right. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Meh. So boring. Ugh.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief,
Wait, what?
Stanley decided to
What if
go
I
up to
go
his
downstairs
boss's
now?
office, hoping he might find an answer there.
What if I go downstairs now? Oh, the broom closet won't even open. Darn it!
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
You barricaded me into the plot. You won't even give me a choice now. That's cruelty. Is there really no other way to break it now?
Stepping inside his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication
Why
of
is he
any
shooting a
human life.
panda?
Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, until he saw the door with a voice receiver next to it. Surely behind this door lay all the answers to his questions. And beyond all probability, he knew the passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week. Night Shark 115. Was this the code to open the door? Would it still work? There was only one way to find out. Stanley had been trained never to speak up, but now he would draw from within himself the courage to face the unknown. He drew a sharp breath and then spoke the code.
Make me. Banana flambe. That would be horrifying if it was actually listening and trying.
Stanley spoke the code. Night Shark 115. He spoke it into the receiver, right there on the wall.
This wall? That's a painting, that's not a receiver. This one? That's a window.
I'm sorry, is there a problem?
This one?
You didn't mishear me, did you? Please speak the code into the receiver. Otherwise we can't get on with the story.
Yes,
this is
I've
a
tried.
crucial
It didn't
step.
work. I actually crouched under the doorknobs. Wow.
Okay, fine, you're not going to do it, but you know what? It's pretty humiliating to bring you this far, only for you to suddenly decide you have better things to do. I asked you for this one single thing, for your respect. The kind of respect Stanley shows for his choices. He knows what it means to take a story seriously. If you didn't want to see what I had to show you, then why did you come here? You had a choice, you know. You could have gone through the door on the right.
I did.
You could have done whatever the hell you wanted over there. Why did you come this way? Speak. Say something to me. Explain yourself.
I
You
tried. Multiple times.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open
Dear
doors,
goodness.
he entered the door on his left.
Well, I've broken reality. To the right door!
Hello? Are you... Is everything okay? Stanley, please. I need you to make a choice. I need you to walk through the door. Are you listening to me? Can you hear me? Is everything all right? Stanley, this is important. The story needs you. It needs you to make a decision. It cannot exist without you. Do you understand me? Whatever choice you make is just fine. They're both correct. You cannot be wrong here. We can work together. I'll accept whatever you do. I simply need you to take that step forward, please. Choose. Do something. Anything. This is more important than you can ever know. I need this. The story needs it. So, you hear me? Are you there? Are you listening to this? Stanley, are you there? Okay. It's okay, I can wait. You need time to decide. Time to make sure your choice is correct. That is the best choice. That's all right. I'll wait for you to decide
I'll feel
what's the
bad
right
for
thing
Charlie.
to do. Take as much time as you need.
4 hours later. Stanley, please. Do something. Oh, dear. Well. Oh, we're back to start. No! Not again. No. What the?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting
broke the
room. Perhaps
world.
he had simply missed. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well.
Time to go
Perhaps he
the
wanted
long
to stop
route.
by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was sublime, a work of art. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
There's also that bad.
Look,
I know,
Stanley, I
I've
think
gotta be
perhaps
able to
we've
jump
gotten
onto
off
that
on the
path.
wrong foot here.
I know that's a path.
I'm not your enemy.
I want
really
to go
am
that
not.
way.
I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been
there's
about
so many
nothing
paths
but
I
you
haven't
all this
seen.
time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley.
So there's answer the
Someone
phone,
you've
there's
forgotten
don't answer the
about.
phone, and then do what he
Please,
says.
Stop
There's jump
trying to
off
make
over
every
there.
decision by yourself.
Turn to a partner and practice saying, "My goodness, is it 4:30? I'm supposed to be having a back sack and crack."
What does that even mean?
Making choices on a regular basis is the best part to a healthy
Always hug
decision-making
your
process.
crocodiles.
And the main character dying senselessly halfway through the story. That story
Spoilers.
makes no sense at all. We just need to get you home as soon as possible before the narrative contradiction gets any worse. Unfortunately, it seems this place is well equipped to deal with reality.
Bubble wrapping the story, making me go along with your shenaniganry. Hello. Hello.
Almost there.
There you are.
You'll take the door on the left, back to the correct ending, the story will have resolution once again, and you'll be home free in the real world. Now remember, all you need to do is behave exactly as Stanley would. That means
wait.
choosing responsibly and always
Technically,
putting the story
to behave as Stanley would be to just stand right here in the middle.
Just follow my lead and you'll be fine.
And do nothing.
All right.
Please don't tell me that's
When
an option.
Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Oh, good.
No! Why did you do that? Quickly, hurry back in the other
Can't.
direction. Perhaps
It
we're not
won't
too
let me.
late.
Okay, there we go. Now it'll break, then it'll reset.
Oh,
Still want to know if there's a way
ruined.
over
I
this.
can't believe, after everything we talked about, that you... My story! You've destroyed my work! What's the answer? What do I do? What do I do? What do I...
The answer
No, I
is to
have
let
to.
me through and
I
see
have to
all the
shut game down.
brokenness.
I have to.
No! Run away! Run away! Run away! Oh, I didn't run away fast enough. Yay.
Oh, I'm here. I'm still here. Here in this pile of rubbish. With you. You, who thought you were so clever.
I guess that ending I got was the completely disregard the narrator and do opposite of everything he said ending. Look, the
Yet
office.
there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his
me
boss's
sad I can't
office,
go in a broom
hoping he
closet.
might find an answer there.
Or downstairs. It
Coming
won't
to
let
a
me do
staircase,
nothing.
Stanley walked
Being
upstairs to his
railroaded
boss's
down the
office.
script.
Stepping inside his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, until he saw the door with a voice receiver next to it. Surely behind this door lay all the answers to his questions. And beyond all probability, he knew the passcode. He had seen it on his boss's computer just last week. Night Shark 115. Was this the code to open the door? Would it still work? There was only one way to find out. Stanley had been trained never to speak up, but now he would draw from within himself the courage to
Please
face the
don't make me do
unknown.
it.
He drew a sharp breath and then spoke the code.
Night Shark 115. No? Huh? Oh, you're not gonna let me do it? Really?
Stanley spoke the code. Night Shark 115. He spoke it into the receiver, right there on the wall.
If I'm doing this for nothing, it's humiliating. Night Shark 115.
I'm sorry, is there a problem? You didn't mishear me, did you? Please speak.
Okay, to Google we go! Yeah, there is no way to go through that. That's
All
what I
of his
love.
co-workers were... Wait, no. This isn't the right office, is it? Is this Stanley's office?
No, it's not. This is Bob's office. Stanley's down the hall and up 3 flights of stairs. There's an elevator in there to mess with too, but not for now.
Stanley
Oh,
was so
yeah, I
bad
guess we
at
have to
following
answer the phone
directions, It's
now.
incredible he wasn't fired years ago. This is it, Stanley. Your chance to redeem yourself. To put your work aside. To let her back into your life. She's
I
been
can't
wasting...
see! There it is. Hi.
That's her, Stanley.
Great, I broke it.
Oh,
Can we...
Stanley, is that you? Hold on, sweetie. Sorry to keep you waiting. I'm just pulling the bread out of the oven. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, now, I want you to come in and tell me all about your day.
Gotcha! Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife who'd want to commit their life to you? I'm trying to make a point here,
You do,
Stanley.
apparently,
I'm trying to
Charlie.
get you to see something. Come inside. Let me show you what's really going on here.
You put some clothes on first?
This is a very sad story about the death of a man named Stanley.
What? How dare you? Oh good, you're not following me.
Stanley is quite a boring fellow. He has a job that demands nothing of him, and every button that he pushes is a reminder of the inconsequential nature of his existence. Look at him there, pushing buttons, doing exactly what he's told to do. Now he's pushing a button. Now he's eating lunch. Now he's going home. Now he's coming back to work. One might even feel sorry for him, except that he's chosen this life.
Wait. I don't think there's a not do anything version here, so...
But in his mind, in his mind he can go on fantastic adventures. From behind his desk, Stanley dreamed of wild expeditions into the unknown, fantastic discoveries of new lands. It was wonderful, and each day that he returned to work was a reminder that none of it would ever happen to him.
Press Q to watch TV.
And so he began to fantasize about his own job. First, he imagined that one day while at work, he stepped up from his desk to realize that all of his co-workers, his boss, everyone in the building had suddenly vanished off the face of the earth. The thought excited him terribly.
What?
So he went further. He imagined that he came to two open doors and that he could go through either. At last, choice. It barely even mattered what lay behind each door. The mere thought that his decisions would mean something was almost too wonderful to behold. As he wandered through this fantasy world, he began to fill it with many possible paths and destinations. Down one path lay an enormous round room with monitors and mind controls. And down another was a yellow line that weaved in many directions. And down another was a game with a baby. And he called it the Stanley Parable. It was such a wonderful fantasy, and so in his head he relived it again, and then again, and again, over and over, wishing beyond hope that it would never end, that he might always feel this free. Surely there's an answer down some new path, mustn't there be? Perhaps if he played just one more time. But there is no answer. How could there possibly be? In reality, all he's doing is pushing the same buttons he always has. Nothing has changed. The longer he spends here, the more invested he gets, the more he forgets which life is the real one. And I'm trying to tell him this, that in this world he can never be anything but an observer, that as long as he remains here, he's slowly killing himself. But he won't listen to me. He won't stop. Here, watch this. Stanley, the next time the screen asks you to push a button, do not do it.
He's probably trying to make a point about the fact that I can sit here forever and he'll just not do it. Three hours later, he's why am I doing this? Yeah, this ain't going nowhere. Boop. 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 Boop.
You see? Can he just not hear me? How can I tell him in a way that he'll understand that every second he remains here, he's electing to kill himself? How can I get him to see what I see? How can I make him look at himself?
A mirror!
I suppose I can't, not in the way I want him to. But I don't make the rules. I simply play to my intended purpose, the same as Stanley. We're not so different, I suppose. I'll try once more to convey all this to him. I'm compelled to. I must. Perhaps, well, maybe this time he'll see. Maybe this time. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried again, and Stanley pushed a button. And I tried.
Ouch. These be some dark endings. Okay, so that narrows it down a little bit. I really want to jump off the elevator and see what's down that path, but I don't know how long that path is, and I don't want these episodes to be too excessively long. So for now, I'm going to have to reluctantly pause. Thank you for watching, and we'll find out what's behind that door next time.